Hey YouTube. So I did a stage breakdown a couple of weeks ago. Seemed to be pretty popular, so I'm going to do another one. This is a stage from the same match. It was the third stage that we shot. 30 round field course, two pieces of steel, some no shoots, some hardcover. It was actually a pretty fun stage. It's one of our bigger bays, so usually there's quite a bit of movement. This was no different. I'm going to go ahead and play the phone footage, third person, and then I'll also play my hat cam footage so you can kind of see how different targets present themselves, see what I'm seeing, and then we'll talk through it.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Shooter ready. Stand by. Clear. Timer down.
So let me give you some stats on this stage. As I mentioned, it was a 30 round field course. I shot 21 alphas, 7 charlies, 1 delta, 1 Mike in a time of 22.72 seconds for a hit factor of 5.15. That was good enough for 72.32% of the stage winner, who is a GM. He shot 23 alphas, 6 charlies, 1 delta in a time of 18.82 seconds for a hit factor of 7.12. So my stage plan was different than everyone else on my squad, and I think for the most part, I was probably one of maybe 3 guys in the whole match that shot it this way. So this stage, the way that it was designed, it was meant to be shot the way that I shot it. And what I mean by that is there were these 2 shooting areas, and as designed, you can only see the far downrange targets from the second shooting area here. Unfortunately, when the stage was set up, the guys didn't pay attention to that, and they ended up making it so that you could shoot everything from this uprange shooting area. And that's what most people chose, because from the stage plan and efficiency perspective, it made the most sense. I shot it the way I did because, one, it was the way that the stage was meant to be shot, and two, it was just more fun. It was a more dynamic stage plan. The way that everyone else shot it, they kind of just stood in these corners, shot everything on the left, then move over to the right and shot everything on the right. Very boring. So I don't think I would change the plan, and quite honestly, I think shooting everything from uprange, it did save some time, but not really as much as everyone thought that it would. I feel that if I would have made some minor tweaks to my plan in the way, not really some minor tweaks to the plan, but then also how I executed it, I could have shaved off at least 2 seconds overall on my time, and my stage score would have been much more competitive. I mean, if you think about it, I had a mic on this stage, and I still ended up with shooting. I was basically 12th out of 42 shooters, so not too bad with the mic. So the first big change that I would have made is, instead of going into this corner first, I would have started shooting these targets as I was coming into that corner. So as you can see, they present themselves right away as, let me see if I can get back over here. So as soon as I step in, that double stack is visible. I could have been shooting immediately, much more immediately, and shooting into position, right? So I'm shooting in the direction that I'm moving, rather than the way that I did it where I'm backing out. Backing out is also always much harder than shooting into a position. So I just I just increased the difficulty and slowed myself down quite a bit there. The other thing too that I feel now in hindsight is that had I shot this in reverse, so I would have been ending on this corner target over here. I would have been ending here before I'm moving down range to and starting my reload. I would have had more time to get that reload done and more time to have my gun up. As you can see here, I'm almost in position before I'm actually aiming, where I probably should have been aiming as I'm coming in right here. And as soon as I step in, I probably could have I could have started engaging that target and shooting that target. The other thing that I would have changed on this stage is I could have shot this back end more aggressively, and specifically these open targets. So this open target, and then as I transition over here, this third open target. If you watch here, and I mentioned it on my last stage breakdown and some previous videos that I shared, I have a tendency to shoot in this like comfortable pace that's just like pre-programmed. It has nothing to do with any kind of visual input or seeing my sights and reacting to them or anything. It's just kind of like this cadence that I shoot in. So I'm going to play the video and listen to this back end of targets, and you can hear that it's a steady cadence on every single target. Those, like, of course, the tuxedos, you have to be a little bit more accountable on the tuxedos because you have the hardcover. There's less of an A zone, and if you miss and you hit the black, then you get a mic, right? So I can understand shooting these tuxedos reactively. In addition to that, I'm adding the other layer of shooting it on the move. So shooting reactively, and what I mean by that is I see a sight picture, I react and shoot. Second shot, I see a sight picture, react and shoot. Makes sense on those tuxedos. But on these open targets, I should have been shooting very predictably. So what that means is one sight picture, and I basically send two shots as fast as I can pull the trigger. So sight picture, and it's like boom, boom. Not this, what I'm doing here, which is sight picture, shoot, sight picture, shoot, sight picture, shoot, sight picture, shoot. So again, on those open targets, my input for shooting should be vision, should be what I'm seeing, but during the rehearsal, during the visualization, I need to pay more attention to this and add more detail to that rehearsal. And I should be thinking about during that rehearsal is these open targets rather than rehearsing and visualizing this pace shooting. It should be, okay, I'm going to attack this target, and what attack means is I'm going to see one sight picture and I'm going to send two shots. That second shot should go as fast as I can pull the trigger. So these little tweaks, I think, if executed right, it should have saved me at least 2 seconds and likely brought me down to maybe 20-second stage time or maybe even down into the teens. And it's not really anything that I am not capable of doing. It's just paying more attention to not only coming up with the stage plan, but more so executing that rehearsal and visualization and putting way more detail into that visualization and that rehearsing and coming up with these cues, right? So that on each target, I don't have to think about what I'm going to do. I've pre-programmed it, I've rehearsed it, I've visualized it. So then when that beep goes off and I just start shooting, the only thing I have to do is look for the spots on the targets, and that programming just takes over and I execute. So that's about it. That wraps up this stage breakdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are learning along with me through this process. I definitely am finding this rather helpful. It's making me analyze my videos a lot closer and in more detail, and it's helping me to kind of put this stuff into practice, stuff that I know about, that I read about, but I'm not actually acting on it. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Again, always appreciate you guys watching my channel.